From dominating the Kenyan entertainment
Mungai Eve show. It's Mungai Eve.
To losing everything in a matter of minutes.
Lakini bado unamiss.
Alikuwa amekimbia kupeana story ndio change story.
Her entire dynasty with director Trevor crumbled before her eyes. Finances collapsed. Shocking accusations exploded online.
I'm not the kind of person to go around talking about my previous relationships.
And secrets they never wanted the public to hear.
Evidence eti mimi nimempiga angepeana kwa Edgar.
Oh, okay. Finally spilled out. But that is not all. Wait until you hear the wild twist that turned their dream empire into a heartbreaking fall from grace.
So me, I like it akiwa amenyoa kwa sababu haimpai stress.
Betrayal, money wars, and a breakup so catastrophic it left Mungai Eve battling depression.
Mungai, hauna nyota ya ndoa na sio Trevor atakuoa.
Shame and starting from nothing. All while Trevor seized control and rebranded their million shilling channel overnight.
Channel mimi nilicreate but ni yake. Maybe kukiwa na issues na nini ningependa iwe yake but so yangu.
Stay right here because what happened next is even more unbelievable.
This is my show. I'm the one to run it.
The hidden fights, the house scandal, the power struggle, the rumors.
If it's going through a phase where
and the moment everything snapped and the entire brand collapsed in real time. But what if I told you that a love story that inspired millions, a brand worth millions of shillings, and a partnership that seemed unbreakable could crumble down in a blink of an eye?
Kwenye marriage hufai kuharakisha vitu. So that ndo make a mature.
What if I told you that behind the smiles, the success and the glamorous lifestyle, there was betrayal, financial warfare and accusations so wild they will shake the Kenyan entertainment industry to its foundation?
Ulibaki na nyumba?
Come on, Obina. You really had
to. Divorce. Ule mori analala kwa gari.
This is the story of Mungai Eve and director Trevor, a tale of ambition, love, money and the catastrophic fall from grace that left one of Kenya's biggest stars with nothing but depression, shame and broken dreams. But trust me, what led to this collapse? That is where the real story begins, and it is far more twisted than you could ever imagine. Let us start from the rise from nothing to everything. We rewind back to September 2020. Kenya was in the grip of the COVID-19 pandemic. The economy was collapsing and young people everywhere were losing hope in the midst of this chaos. A young woman from Gishiku village in Murang'a County was contemplating giving up on her dreams entirely. Her name was Evelyn Wanjiku Mungai, but the world would come to know her as Mungai Eve. Eve had moved to Nairobi with stars in her eyes. Enrolling in a diploma in journalism, she wanted to tell stories, to give voice to the voiceless, but financial constraints crushed those dreams, forcing her to drop out of school. Imagine the desperation. The young woman who had wanted to change the world was now selling belts at Kamukunji for 80 shillings, reselling them for 150 just to afford credit, food and even supper for her boyfriend. She was ready to pack her bags and return to the village, defeated. But then her boyfriend, a man named Director Trevor, made a proposition that will change everything. "You should not go," he told her. "I have an idea. Let us first try it out. Let us start Mungai Eve YouTube channel, then see how it goes." Director Trevor attended the Gengeton festival where violence erupted, leading to the death of one person. He recorded the incident, asked Eve Mungai to do a voiceover narrating what had transpired, and uploaded it to YouTube. And that video, covering the raw unfiltered reality of Nairobi streets, was the spark that ignited the wildfire. They followed up with interviews of emerging Gengeton artists like Leetina and Stupid Boy. Then came the game changer, Madocho of Gota City Camp. When those videos went live, everything exploded. The number of subscribers and view time increased significantly, and that was their breakthrough. Within weeks, Mungai Eve's channel began monetizing. The first check they received, 100,000 shillings, for two young people who had been struggling to survive. This was a fortune, but that was just the beginning. By early 2021, Mungai Eve was earning between 700,000 and 1.5 million shillings every single month. Let that sink in. A 21-year-old college dropout was making more money in a month than most Kenyans earn in a year, and by July of 2021, in just the first 12 days of the month, her YouTube earnings were already standing at $2,103. That is 225,000 Kenyan shillings. The couple became relationship goals. They bought a 3-bedroom apartment in Kileleshwa worth 10 million shillings. They acquired a brand new Toyota Crown. They were living the dream. Eve's channel focused on projecting unscripted real-life experiences of youths from informal settlements, and Kenyans couldn't get enough of them. The channel crossed 100 million views, accumulated over 742,000 subscribers, and generated approximately 13.6 million shillings from YouTube annually. Each of them was drawing a salary of 800,000 shillings per month. Companies came knocking with offers. One brand tabled a tempting offer of 10 million shillings to buy the channel outright. Eve and Trevor declined. They believed in their vision. They were unstoppable, or so even they thought. But now we get to where the cracks begin to show. In her own words, Mungai Eve later revealed something shocking. "I don't think it was love," she said. "It was the situation that brought us together." Can you imagine this? The couple that everyone idolized, the partnership that seemed built on genuine affection, was, according to Mungai Eve, nothing more than a survival arrangement. "I ended up in a come-we-stay marriage because I did not want to go back home to my parents' house, and I did not have anywhere else to go." Eve confessed, "It was at a time when people were starting to know me and we had to focus on the career." The relationship, it turned out, was transactional from the start. It wasn't romance that kept them together. It was ambition, it was money, it was the brand. And when you build a relationship on such fragile foundations, it is only a matter of time before everything collapses. By the year 2023, the romantic relationship hit rock bottom. Director Trevor revealed that he had a meeting with Mungai Eve's parent, where they agreed that while the romantic relationship was over, they would continue working together professionally. They had a 50-50 agreement on revenue sharing from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all other platforms. Everything seemed civil, everything seemed manageable, but then came the house. If Mungai wanted to build her parents a house in Murang'a, it was a dream project, something that would elevate her public image, cement her status as a successful daughter, and Trevor, believing it would be good for the brand, supported the project fully. But here is where things took a catastrophic turn. At that time, they had no money because they had spent everything on the building. Trevor later revealed, "Any cash we got went straight into construction. If we had 300,000 shillings, it would buy mabati. If we had 200,000 shillings, it would buy cement. We were basically surviving on whatever we could get. But we had already used all our resources on the house, so we were left with nothing." The couple, who had been earning millions every month, were now broke. The financial strain was suffocating, and it was in this crucible of financial pressure that the true battle was about to begin.
I'm always against hizo mavitu anashukanga. I don't like them. Na mtu akunifanyia harusi. Unaona yeye anasema anangoja afikishe 29 years.
But that is not all. Wait until you see what happened next, because what you've heard so far, that is just the tip of the iceberg. The real betrayal, the accusations, the financial warfare that destroyed their relationship and left Eve Mungai with nothing, that is coming up, and trust me, you're not ready for what I'm about to reveal. With their finances drained from building the house, the pressure was mounting, and it was in this environment of financial desperation that Mungai Eve made a demand that would detonate the entire relationship. Mungai Eve felt that she does not deserve 50%, yet she is the image and the whatever of the brand. So she wanted more. Trevor revealed that in an interview on the Ikonini podcast. Can you imagine the audacity? After agreeing to a 50-50 split, after building the brand together from nothing, Eve now wanted a larger share. Her argument, she was the face of the brand. She was the one on camera. She was the one people tuned in to see. Therefore, she deserved more control over the money. But Trevor wasn't having it. For me, I felt she was forgetting the fact that this was something we both built, and there is a way we should treat it as a business, Trevor stated. Mungai Eve controlled the brand's Instagram account, which generated a significant income. She argued that the platform generated the majority of their revenue in 2023, implying that she would have greater control over the profit distribution. And then Mungai Eve made a proposal that Trevor found absolutely infuriating. She offered to buy him out of the brand. I wouldn't even want to hear her offer because I know she cannot afford it. Trevor fired back. How much will she be willing to pay me for a brand that generates approximately 2 million shillings a month? You cannot buy something from me when you don't know its value. Think about that for a moment. Mungai Eve, who had been broke just weeks earlier because of the house construction, was now proposing to buy Trevor out of a brand worth millions. Where would she get the money? How could she possibly afford it? The negotiations became toxic. The professional relationship they had promised Eve's parents they would maintain, it was disintegrating. It reaches a point where you are just toxic to each other and all you want is for the person to get out of your life, Mungai Eve later admitted. And on February 19th, 2024, Trevor made a shocking announcement that sent shockwaves through the Kenyan entertainment industry. Mungai Eve's services were no longer needed.
Ngoja kwanza. Ngoja inafaa kuwa hivi. Maybe interview mtu atawatch 2022.
Aone hiyo ni pesa.
Unajua unafaa kusema hivi. Tuko kama 140 something subscribers. So kwa muda huu ndo tunaonde hiyo hela kwa muda huu.
Now let's talk about the devastating breakup. Let me paint you a picture of what happened next because what Trevor did was nothing short of a complete takeover. He announced publicly that Mungai Eve was no longer part of his production crew. Her services will not feature anywhere on their Instagram page, their Facebook page or any other platform. And most devastating of all, Trevor took full control of their YouTube channel that had bore her name, Mungai Eve Show. He rebranded it as Kenya Online Media, effectively erasing her from the very brand that she had helped build. Can you imagine the humiliation? The woman whose name was literally the title of the channel, who had been the face of the brand for years, was suddenly locked out completely. But Trevor wasn't done. Through his reporter Captain Nyota, he revealed that they had kept their breakup under wraps for over a year to protect their brand. They had continued to work together, pretending everything was fine, while behind the scenes, their relationship was in ruins.
Nimekwambia hivi. Eve alienda kupeana tea kwa Edgar akitumia akaunti ya best yake kujisafishia.
The public was stunned. How could the couple that seemed so perfect have been hiding such turmoil? And then came the rumors. Wild, unsubstantiated claims began circulating on social media. There were whispers of cheating, accusations of violence, speculations about who had wronged whom. When Mungai Eve was asked directly by Andrew Kibe, "I suspect you are the one who was cheating," she responded cryptically, "You might be wrong or right. I knew it was coming." Neither confirmed nor denied the cheating allegation, leaving the public to speculate wildly.
Is it true that you guys you stopped seeing each other last year?
I don't know. I believe it's
The narrative became increasingly chaotic. Some blamed Eve for greed, others accused director Trevor of being controlling. The truth became impossible to discern amidst the noises. But there was what we know for certain. If Mungai was left with virtually nothing, the YouTube channel that had been generating over 1.5 million shillings per month, gone, the Instagram account that was controlled without the YouTube channel, and the broader brand support, its value plummeted. The house in Kileleshwa, shared property that will need to be divided, the Toyota Crown, written off, after an accident. It belonged to him, but we used it as a family, Eve said sarcastically. By the time of the breakup, it was written off after an accident. Trevor, on the other hand, took everything. He rebranded the channel, brought in new presenters, including another woman named Eve Nyaga, and continued the business as if nothing had happened. He even started a new podcast with his current girlfriend, Yvonne Kiki. But now we need to get to the aftermath, depression and the darkness. This is where the story takes its darkest turn, and I need you to pay close attention because what Mungai Eve went through after the breakup, it is very heartbreaking. While Trevor was moving on, rebranding and building new ventures, Mungai Eve was falling apart. Between April and June 2025, Mungai Eve experienced what she described as the darkest period of her life. In a candid Instagram question and answer session with her fans, Mungai Eve opened up about her struggle with severe depression. "Yes, I have," she confessed. "Earlier this year, between April and June, was honestly the toughest times of my life. I won't even lie. I spent most days in bed, barely eating, wishing it would all just end. It was dark." Can you imagine this? This young woman who had once been at the top of the Kenyan entertainment industry was now so depressed that she could barely get out of bed. She had lost her appetite, lost her motivation, and was sleeping most of the time. Mungai Eve also revealed that she had to pause her celebrity interviews and podcasts, which had been her signature content for the past 5 years. She stepped back from the limelight to care for her mental health. Kenyan noticed that she stopped creating content on her YouTube channel, raising eyebrows. The once prolific content creator was now becoming silent. And then, as if things couldn't get worse, fake news started circulating in September 2025. A fake post went viral, claiming that Mungai Eve regretted leaving director Trevor and was battling depression.
Eve is going through a phase where now Kenyans want to punish her.
If Mungai.
Yes.
"I regret leaving director Trevor," the fake post claimed. "My friends influenced me, but now that things have gone bad, they have disappeared. I am hoping he will forgive me because I am in serious depression." Eve was forced to address the rumors. "When did I ever say this?" she commented on X, dismissed the fake graphic. She later posted on her Instagram stories, "Some people visit my past more than I do. I don't live there anymore. I sold the whole building." Despite her denials, the damage was already done. The public perception was that Eve was broken, depressed, and filled with regret. Whether that was true or not, the narrative had taken hold. The story of Mungai Eve and director Trevor is a shocking reminder that even the most successful partnerships can crumble. The trust breaks down, finances become weaponized, and personal relationships are exposed to the brutal scrutiny of the public eye. From the streets with nothing, to topping the scales and being a top pioneer in the Kenyan entertainment, then to a heartbreaking fall from grace, Mungai Eve's journey is one of triumph, betrayal, and ultimately survival. If this story shocked you, if it made you think twice about mixing business with relationship, then hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with everyone who needs to hear this message. And remember, success is fragile. Protect it, structure it, and never let emotions destroy what you have built. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and never forget the lessons from those who came before.